Hey, what's up YouTube? Fixing to make another knife case, a twin to this one here. I made this knife case for hog hunting, hog dogging specifically, where this can be worn across the waist and you can reach down and drop sideways instead of having to pull up and out. They use a lot of big knives for hog hunting. If you're going to stick a hog with a knife, when you catch him with the dogs, you have to have a decent knife. So this is the knife that I was asked to make a case for, and the person hunts with my best friend's son, who I made this case for. This is my design, has several layers of leather, make it super thick and super sturdy. I also like to make a case so that the rough of the inside doesn't really show. I've already cut a few pieces out to get it started, and I got one set getting glued together. This thing has to be put together just so, or it won't work. Right now, I've got this tab coming down. I had 3 layers in this case. I'm only doing 2 in this one. I shaved this piece of leather so it'll fit a little bit tighter on there. Now this next piece of leather with this curve is to help protect the threads from that sharp blade, and it's not going to keep rubbing on them. So I like to put a good thick piece of leather up against the edge of the blade, which this piece will be going in here. The other function, and the reason this is so long, this is going to be made into the belt loop. This is to carry it straight horizontally with your belt. So this is then going to get folded around the back. Before I can put this piece on, I need to trim this back a little bit, because once it's glued, it's not going to be so easy to trim. I'm going to take about 1/3 of this off because I'm not going to need it. I want about 1/4 inch to stitches. Plus I'm going to have this brass tack up here, rivet. So I want about 1/4 inch and then another 1/4 inch to the edge. So I'll take that off evenly all the way down. As clean a cut as you can. Rough cuts look bad. If you notice up here, I cut a little round groove. That's what this piece is just to help fill in so the knife rides better. You gotta understand, this isn't just a case to be slapping around your side. This is going to be running through the woods, hitting brush, getting ripped, getting torn. You need something that's going to hold that knife. You don't want to get to your hog and find out that your only weapon's gone. What I'm doing right now is just lining everything up tight. Now I'm coming down to this edge, and I'm going to mark it to where I've got to take it off. Right about there, just close. It doesn't have to be exact. Just a little notch here to save me having to cut that out later. Better to have more than enough than not enough. And once again, I'm just going to put a board over it and clamp it in place. I'm running this edge right down there where it's going to get good and tight. You see my 2 rivet holes. One we have a rivet in it, one we don't. This will go in after. Then the same thing, I just marked them with black, little black dots here and here where the curve of the knife goes. Hole punch, mine's kind of worn out, so I have to hold it when I do this. There's only 2 layers here, so it's a little bit easier to cut through. Same thing on this side. This one's got 3 layers though. A few different size rivets here. Some longer ones we'll use later. I'm going to go with this short one right now. That's the plate that I use for it. And I can't find my punch, so I grabbed this punch. All I really need, I need an indent in the end of it down here. That's what I need, so hopefully it'll work. As you can see, my shortest rivet's almost too long. I don't have any shorter than that. So it's going to take a bit of pressure to pound it down. Usually they come with punches, but like I said, I lost mine. So I just got to pound it and pound it. It's not a pretty rivet, but it'll do the job. It's going to be covered anyway. Luckily I took pictures last time so I can remember a little bit how I did it. Sometimes I only do things once and I don't repeat them. This is a special request. This is the last rivet. That's the hole that we have set. I've already cut this tab back. This one's already short. This ends up folding up to create the belt loop on the back. This way you slide your belt through. Next step is to get the cover leather, mark where our stitches are going to go, probably trim it down a little bit, and then we'll glue this together. I'm going to stop the stitches back here just a little bit, as long as this button doesn't push it up, which it shouldn't. And this way when it's drawn out, this serrated edge doesn't cut any of those stitches. I'll also put a rivet in here to protect that as well. So I'm just going to mark this back a little bit. I want enough that when I cut it later, there'll still be something there. Just cut it back some. Because I'm going to trim it again at some point, I don't have to worry about a good clean edge, so I'm just going to use scissors to make it easier. Good tough scissors. Start getting hard up there. It's rough, it's jagged, but we're not worried about that. I'm going to end up trimming it back later again. I'm just looking to see where my handle goes, roughly. Normally I would not use black marker like that. I'm only doing it for video. I got to be sure to cut all this black off too. A nice clean cut. If you can help it, try not to stop. It's kind of hard though. A little bit off. I need to come a little bit wider here and here. As you see, now I have a nice good fit. That's going to hold nice and tight all the way around that weapon. Once again, I can use my scissors if I want to. It's just a rough cut. Now I've got a little bit closer fit to work with, and it's going to be very tight, y'all. Very tight fit. Starts getting difficult, but I can make it happen. I'm going to mark this right to the edge of this hole. And like I said, it's a bit tight, but it'll do. First things first, I'm going to pop that hole before I do anything else. Stuck me a rivet in that hole there. And I have a reference point to keep everything lined up. Keep my corners lined up down here. I can feel the edge underneath here. Flip back and double check. It's right there.